Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to this week's episode of the My Love of Golf podcast. Yours truly here, Roscoe at the helm, about to bring the two main men of the podcast, the keeper of the data lake and the other man who likes to come in off a long run. I think he's got a few things to unload on this week as well. I'm still recovering from the Vic Open, to be honest. It was a great week and, still in recovery mode. Haven't picked up my prize yet of the driver. Yes, that's right. The prize was confirmed. It's a driver for the long drive. If I didn't tell you last week, I won the long drive. If you can indulge me for another hour and 5 minutes, I might tell you again. But the good news is of me winning a driver is that, yes, we will be giving it away. I haven't got it yet, so I don't actually know what it is. It could be something from the Drummer Golf Network. Of course, it might be because they were a sponsor. But we will be giving it away on this podcast next week. Once I get it in my hands, we'll be giving a driver away. Might be the first ever big giveaway that we've done, but be giving a drive away. Bring the guys in. Let's play the music. Gentlemen, good evening. How are we both?
Good.
Good, thanks.
You know, we're probably going to have to deliver a little bit more with the gentlemen good evenings and the openings moving forward. You know, the one-word answers, probably not the best thing to get a podcast show off the road.
I said thanks at the end.
No, fair enough. But we'll work on that in the non-existent team meeting that we have between podcasts. What do you think about did I mention that I won the long drive? We're giving the driver away. I don't know what it is. I hope it's something decent. But
I heard that I was going to ask you if you'd won a long drive down there because I got tagged in something and they were looking for the plaque.
Yeah, probably hasn't been quite minted at the brasserie as yet. The Scottish brass coming off the Isle of Ailsa Crag or something like that. I don't know. No, we're being silly already. But I think that'd be a good thing to do for the followers of the podcast, all six of them. A good chance to win if you are a follower. Not many of you out there, so you might win a driver. There might be a few stipulations. I don't know what the YouTubeology and the Instagram and all of the other rules and regs are about giveaways, but whatever they are, YouTube blokes can tell me that and we can follow that. But driver coming at someone. How is your week in golf? Mike Caridi, Magic Mike.
Yes.
Was the Guinness fella on hand this week? Is he down there on the peninsula somewhere?
If he was, I'm be giving him a run. It's the week of golf has not stopped, so I'm very weary. I've got calluses on my hands. It's good.
How do you do it? Like, so what we're talking about is Mike Cruddy has played how many holes?
I don't remember. It was like 260 maybe. I don't know. It was a lot.
260 odd holes in not many days. It's a fair crack. Is there a public access course that you haven't covered down there?
Rosebud North. That's it.
Rosebud North.
The only one. Everywhere else I've played. And it's only because Rosebud North's closed tomorrow for filming of the golf show. Otherwise, I'll be playing there tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. Have you ventured to the northern end of the peninsula, at my end of the Mornington Peninsula yet?
No, it's just a bit too far because I'm based right down in the south. For anyone who's not in Melbourne, where I am, down the not far as Portsea Sorrento, but down the little toe of the boot, because there's probably half a dozen courses or 8 courses here. And it's too difficult to travel half an hour back over the hill. I'm spoiled. Yeah. I'm too spoiled.
Not going to get any sympathy from me, mate, that you can't drive up 35 minutes up the freeway there, the pristine Mornington Peninsula Freeway, to go and check out one of my other favourites, Mornington Golf Course. No.
He obviously doesn't love golf enough.
Well, he is. No. He is. In fairness, he is sport around where he is. Mornington at the top end of the Mornington Peninsula has to be put on everyone's radar. Check out a couple of my little drone pictures on Instagram, and also Devil Bend. Also a high-quality course featured in many Peninsula District Golf Association pennant stoushes over the years. Big Chrissy Mew and my team had a big ding-dong there. I think we might have lost to Rosebud there in a final once. I think it might have been a young Andrew Shonneville that was chirping away, as only a young 14-year-old up-and-coming, +2 handicap whippersnapper could do to try and put off the opposition, chirping from the sidelines. Great young man, Andrew Sconerville.
I did play with a Devil Band member on 2 days ago at Flinders.
Okay.
Yeah, lovely gentleman. Joined up in the members comp there. Played with Alan and Len. Sorry, Len was the member from Devil Band, and Alan was the local member. Alan was 75, playing off 15, and wiped the floor with me. He had 40 points with a white off 15. Unbelievable golf.
That's the beauty about turning up to a place that you've never been or don't go too often, and be unplanned and just rocking with whoever comes your way. It's one of the beauties about golf. That's one of the things I like. When I head overseas and go and play in Scotland, people expect that, I'm cavorting around all these high-end courses and whatever. And sure, sometimes the nice courses fall your way through one way, shape or form. But, you're most as much as likely to find me, playing at some random course with a random person, and the people you meet make the experience all worthwhile. So I hope you experience the same, Mike. If you do watch on the YouTube, thanks again to I think it might have been 3 YouTube followers that we gathered this week. Really appreciate every single click, like, and subscribe. Thank you. If you are watching on the YouTube and you can only see Mike is a tile form, he's turned his video off because as abundant as the golf courses are in the southern end of the Mornington Peninsula, the lack of abundance of internet presence is
it's a data lake. It's a data lake. There's a lot of data he's crunching today. There's just not enough internet throughput for the data that he's diving into.
The amount of stats coming out of Mike's gob.
And I've got about 8 golf courses open to book a tee time for tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon as well.
Dear. He's prepared. He's been preparing for the Genesis at Riviera, which we'll talk about very shortly. You didn't get an invite to Mornington. That was just like 6 o'clock last night that I was down there with. It was a fun afternoon. I had to do a little bit of filming down there, and Mike Ferroni, former guest on the podcast, the pro, one of the Victoria's greatest ever club pros, been at Mornington for a number of years. He has an annual challenge with his staff in the pro shop. He has 1, 2, 3 young trainees or pros that work for him. 2 of them, one was coaching, so couldn't join, but 2 of them and Mike joined in their annual Par 3 challenge. He said, we're doing the Par 3 challenge, so you come down and, hang out with us. I said, yeah, fair enough. That's no problems. Be great. I said, I'll bring the camera, I'll film it. And they play the 19th hole, which is that new signature Par 3 at Mornington, which you can see with the green Darius Oliver inspired design. The green backs up onto the cliff there overlooking the Port Phillip Bay. They play that 9 times, and then they go to the 16th, the Volcano, which is on the Instagram post, and play that 9 times. But they don't go play it once, come back, play it once, come back, play it once. They play 3 shots each, and then they putt out 3 balls and keep the score, and they do that 3 times on each hole. And Jared is the new staff member down there. He's moved down from Mildura to do his traineeship, and he was 3 under after 3 holes. So he's hit 3 shots under the first go and birdied each one. So wow. Suffice to say, he blew them away. Jared and Mike finished probably 3rd amongst the team, so I had to take them all down to Mornington and buy them hamburgers. Anyway, Mornington Golf Club, get down there. What else happened this week? I was at Yarra Yarra Golf Club today with the Australian Women's Golf Network. It's always fun being with 30 women and being the only bloke there. But the more that I hang out with groups of women on the golf course, the more I start to understand what the requirements are of the game for women, new women that are coming to the game of golf, and what some of the hurdles are and what some of the barriers to entry or perceived barriers to entry. Some exist, some don't exist. Some might be a perception, but also just what people like me that are in the industry and also golf clubs do and don't offer. So every time I get to hang out with the groups of the women down there as part of the Australian Women's Golf Network, I just go down there and take some photos and videos for them and learn along the way. It's always great. So Yarra Yarra. more importantly, the reason why I talk about that is Yarra Yarra. If either of you been there recently?
I'm booked to go in the next couple of weeks. I just got to find the time.
Haven't seen it since Mr. Tom got his hands on it.
What a transformation. I don't know. I spoke a little bit to Andrew Bertram recently. That's not such a word. Briefly. And, so I don't know how close it is back to the original sort of foundations of what Yarra Yarra was, 124 years ago. But basically now, all of the trees, it's been very dokified. A lot of the trees, the sight lines through the course are all there. Fairways are joined in certain parts. There's a bit of view bunkering, but it just looks magnificent when you get there and you can see all through the course. You can see several green complexes from, the beautiful clubhouse that is Yarra Yarra. If you haven't seen it, check it out. That's Spanish.
So a lot of the stuff on the front nine, because the front nine was very, we'll call it tree laden, and there were some holes that were just diabolical off the tee and even into approach shots on some holes because of the way the trees were.
Yeah, no, well, it's all sorted, but it just looks magnificent. And, like what they've done in some of that classic architecture in the States, that they've returned to some of the original design. Imagine that's what they've tried to do there. And, I can't wait to see what you think of it, Mike, when you get there. But Yarra Yarra, there wasn't a blade of grass out of place on the fairway. The history in the clubhouse is immense. Just a beautiful clubhouse. They've got a champions board there, and it's great to see some familiar names. Luke Simmons, former colleague of mine, he's up there. Marcus Botha's up there, but who else? The pro that used to be at Peninsula, what was his name? Benny Ferg was up there, former champion, plus a whole heap of other names that we all know, like Allenby's, and I think Walter Hagen's name and Johnny Miller's name's on there. So it's, they've got this big picture with these guys that we call our golf friends, and then they've got Johnny Miller's and Walter Hagen's and all these other names. It's great. Anyway, Rocket, why have you got Phil Mickelson's backdrop or Phil Mickelson's Twitter profile as your backdrop?
Because he blocked me.
Rocket, is that like a claim to fame? Do you wear that as a badge of honour that you've been blocked by Phil, or is that a bit sad?
Absolutely. In terms of the three biggest idiots on the platform, and just in golf in general at the moment, it's almost like Boy Scouts. I was looking for all my badges. I had Patrick Reed first. I had Brandel, and now Phil. So I feel like I've got my full set of badges, and Phil has been quite busy with the block thumb this week, because he has blocked a lot of people. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. No laying up. I think it's Jeff Shackleford, Alan Shipnuck, like every man and his dog who is all the, we'll call it golf Twitter, and the people that report on it and stuff like that. He's pretty much like blocked everyone. The whole Saudi thing has completely blown up, and he's just gone block crazy.
Jeff Shackleford had he's not shy of having a bit of a swipe.
He's got a book coming out. Or is it him and Alan? No, I think it's Jeff. I think he's got a book coming out on Phil.
He's got a great turn of phrase in a witty sort of barbed way, as Jeff Shackleford, when he's writing, when he disagrees with a point of view or has an opinion on something, which is might be in this case like a generally held opinion. He has a very funny way of writing. It's interesting to read. I'm not surprised that if you got blocked. Well, certainly I'm not surprised that Shackleford's got blocked.
Everyone.
So
everyone.
What tipped? Because Phil's, just for clarity, for the length and time that you've been, co-hosting this podcast, you've given Phil more than you've taken away from him. He's in credit. Yeah, you're in credit with him. You would have thought, in terms of how much you've supported him, how much you've, shared some love for Phil.
Yeah, think about all the time. As an avid listener of this podcast, which Phil is, you would think that, he would at least message me and say, can you ease up on the Saudi slapping that I'm getting? You know, I appreciate all the love that you're giving me, but I never got a message like that. You know, I'm really disappointed that he didn't at least give me a heads up, or at least sort of just go, look, you know, I'm going to block you for a couple of weeks because, you know, I've got to kind of feel like I've got to set an example. But he never communicated. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
He didn't come to you and say, "Look, I'm building you as part of my ticket, and I'm just going to just ease off. Give me some time." And no, he didn't.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I think, what set him off this week was, I think it was originally that Charlie Hoffman. Charlie Hoffman took a drop at the waste management after hitting it in the water. And then when he's taken the drop, he'd walked away to get a new stick out of the bag, and the ball had taken it upon itself to then roll into the water. So he blew up a bit on Instagram to the rules officials and said, no wonder people want to leave and go to Saudi. And the two people that were quick to comment underneath and say, amen, brother, were Bryson and Phil. And so everyone jumped on to Phil, and that's when I think he got his trigger hands out. It was no more thumbs up to the crowd. It was thumbs up to the block button.
Yeah, and the thing, and I think my comment, I think I used, I didn't call Charlie Hoffman Lee Harvey Oswald, but I might as well have, because I think Phil and Charlie live not far from each other down in San Diego. And I think they hang out a bit. So I believe Phil's obviously been in his ear, right? Because he would be chirping and chipping away at a lot of different people. And so Charlie's lost it, and he's come out and chirped on that one. And because you think about it, it's like all Phil's done is setting people up to be really, and get them wound up. Right, he's very convincing about his story, whether or not it's true or not. He just embellishes a lot of things, but does it in a way that as you sit back and go, "Oh yeah, he's right." But the thing is, though, it's not trying to make the tour better or do anything differently. It's all about the Saudi stuff, right? And Phil's just a needler. He's a very good needler and sledger, and I actually think that he's used Charlie as a patsy. And Charlie's gone out there blazing, and Phil's sort of, you know, swinging from the back end, just, you know, chiming in, going, "Oh yeah, exactly, Charlie, that's exactly what I think." When he's probably sort of almost like speaking what Phil's been in his ear about. So, you know, he'd be sly like that. Simple as that. And there's just so much irony. And it's just laughable. It's laughable.
It was a pretty silly comment from Charlie, wasn't it? Like,
well, it's been deleted now.
Oh, has it? No, right.
Yeah, been deleted now. Although it was quite funny that, you know, he's doing that at an event that's sponsored by his sponsor.
Yeah.
And then the next day, he was in the waste management truck, like paraphrasing here. It's like he's cleaning up his mess.
Yeah.
It was quite funny, but still pretty. And do you know what? Here's the other thing that's really funny is that Charlie Hoffman's like going on about the Saudi thing. He's actually the reason why the likes of Phil and Bryson have the Brayson bits, because that's the argument. Like, all this money, too much is equitable rather than all the stars getting all the money. He's the actual problem. That's the argument for this Super League tour. That's the actual argument. So this is what.
So what are you saying? Like, Charlie's over-indexing versus what they're getting?
He's bought into what Phil's saying, right? But what Charlie has not thought about is it's an elite tour, so they're trying to get like the top, say, 40 players, and that's it. Like, this 40 players. Charlie, you're not one of them, and you're talking about going to the Saudi tour. You've been had, mate. You've literally been had.
Mike, are you still with us down there? We can't see Mike, so we've got to check in. We can see.
No, still here, mate. Still here. I think okay. I think each time I speak, I'm on a bit of delay. But other than that, hopefully it's coming through all right.
No, we can hear you. So when we can't, What was your take on all of that, Charlie Hoffman, Phil, and going blockchain crazy?
Yeah, Rocket's bang on. It's just weird. I mean, exactly what Rocket said is the case. I mean, these guys, these superstars, or these big names, I'll say, some are superstars like Phil, but Bryson's probably not that tier, but they're getting offered a lot of money to go somewhere, and they're feeling like they should be getting that money because they're big hitters and aren't getting enough of the pie from the PGA Tour, because the likes of Charlie are turning up to Waste Management and getting solid coin every time he turns up. And they should be getting a big share. I reckon someone, I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain I heard a little while ago that Charlie Hoffman, I think it was on the Subpar podcast, Charlie Hoffman's actually got a shirt with his earnings at the Waste Management,
yes,
his career earnings printed on it.
Yes. No. Oh no. It's the Colonial. It's Colonial.
Colonial, is it?
Yeah. He's got a shirt with Colonial. All-time money. Like that. Yeah, all-time money winner at the Colonial.
Yeah. And that, I mean, if you asked anyone who doesn't love golf like we love golf, who Charlie Hoffman is, I'd probably say, oh, he was that bloke from the Rain Man movie with Tom Cruise. I don't know.
He wore the mullet before the mullet was fashionable.
Yeah. And he had the flat bill. He had the flat bill before Ricky made it fashionable.
And the flat bill mullet, and he was never a Terry Two gloves, but he always wore a different color glove. Like he strayed away from the white glove too, didn't he? And
he loves the green glove.
The green,
the Waste Management green glove. So just back to the blockage, Rocket. So Patrick Reed, P. Reed, and the can only assume the burner account has blocked you. Are you blocked on both spheres of that quadrilla?
Well, I don't follow the Justine's account, so I have no idea.
Okay,
I might check it.
Use Golf Facts.
Yeah.
How long ago did P. Reed hit the block button?
I'm pretty sure that was post Steam Shovel.
Okay.
So before the President's Cup.
And what about Bryza?
Brandel.
Oh, Brandel. Sorry, Brandel Bryza. So Bryson hasn't blocked you. Probably the one.
No, not yet.
Yeah, probably the one that should have. But Brandel Chambly.
I haven't launched into Bryson much actually because I do it all on here.
Yeah, you do. Brandel. What did Brandel block you for?
Because he didn't like my take on the rollback.
Oh, right. Yeah. No, he's
come up with all these facts and stuff that were just garbage. It's just absolute just garbage. And then I hit him with a bit of actual facts and got blocked.
Has he blocked Mollica? Do you know?
Probably.
Matt Mollica, thanks once again for the messages and the support. We appreciate you listening. Let us know. Let me know tomorrow morning at about 6:15 by the time you listen to this, and most of us are still getting out of bed. If you have actually been blocked by Brandel Chambly, Matt Mollica is the chief CEO of the Rollback Alliance, the Alliance. Well, what about the Waste Management while we're talking about it?
Yeah,
Harry Higgs got his kit off.
Harry Higgs got his They raised some. I think they raised some likes. I was going to say raised some money. They raised some likes, and Joel Damon got his shirt off as well. There was a very good ace on. There was two aces in the end. I think it was Saturday and Sunday. There was an ace on each day. But to me, it was probably a little bit like the tournament and what it's turned into. It was really is all about people going there and getting completely gassed. And that's it. The tournament ended in a playoff. I really like the bit where Patrick Cantlay did that thing where he walks around like a robot and gives no jazz at all to the crowd. And he's quickly becoming a guy that there's so many golfers that we love, right? Whether or hate, can say, I don't like. No, people got an opinion about Bryson, or they love Tiger, or there's something that everyone's got something about them. Like we just said, and Harry Higgs, Patrick Cantlay has got. Yeah, he's an exceptional golfer, probably the best right now, probably the number one golfer on the planet. But geez, he's just got no personality. like zero.
And he doesn't shy away from it either, right? So even when he talks about it, he said, you shouldn't be. I think he was asked about the tour, and he was like, your performance should dictate what you get paid.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. But if I'm tipping money in as a sponsor,
yeah,
I wouldn't be chasing him to be sitting on any halftime Super Bowl commercials. But no, I was really happy to see Scotty Scheffler win. It's a monkey off the back for him, or was probably a gorilla by this stage. That was a really good putt on the third playoff hole to get it. It was a poor hole to have on that course. I think I tweeted it. I did tweet it. 17 to drivable par 4. Put him there. Give him the reins and say, right, if you want to win this, here's a drivable par 4 with water down the left. Go and win it. Don't put this par 4 in they're all hitting driver, which takes water completely out of play. They're hitting it in the rough, still making pars. It was just pretty boring playoffs, to be honest.
Or change the pin on 16, put it in a spot that is basically just birdie central, and just go there. Start there, make 17 the next one after that.
Yeah, exactly.
What a place to do a playoff. It's like, we're going to put this pin in a spot that you're going to actually have to attack.
Yeah. Could you imagine the adrenaline?
Oh, my God.
Gap wedges in.
With that crowd.
Off the tee. Everyone going bunter.
Oh, my God. It would be absolute just...
It would have been good.
Crazy. It would be crazy.
Probably the feel-good story of the week was Saheed Tagala. Disappointing he didn't get to the playoff. He was pretty unlucky on 17. Hit the driving iron or the hybrid off the tee to kind of in the middle. Didn't really go for it. Didn't really lay up on the drivable par 4 and copped a big forward bounce and rolled into the drink and missed the playoff by one shot. So that was a bit disappointing. But he's clearly a talent. So this is his first full year on tour. So off the Corn Ferry. So he will be back, I'm sure. I hope he is.
Our boy Herbie missed the cut, but I don't know if anyone was following some of Jamie Glazier's pictures because he was over there with Team Herbie. And it just showed you at another level some of the size and scale of those erections that are around some of those holes. Like, it's not just the 16th, it's many.
This off 17T. It's
17, yeah.
Stupid.
Like, it's
overwhelming on 17T.
Like, it doesn't look like a golf course.
Although Zach Johnson did another whoopsie off the tee there.
Was that him?
Did he?
Yeah, Zach Johnson.
It was like a half sort of turnaround sort of just thing and flipped it. Was that him?
Yeah, he's just having a practice swing. He teed his ball up, had a practice swing, clipped it. It was Zach Johnson. That's so good.
God, he's got to stop. He's got to move on from that. Someone's going to call him on it.
How do we go on the tipsters the tipsters, the Mile of Golf tipping charts, which is still not too late to get on. The leaders have a little bit of a run courtesy of a couple of wins, but that's all it takes. It only takes a win to catapult 100%. You up into contention. So it's not too late to get on. There's over 60 in it. I'm 16th. I think Rocket's usurped me as the leader of this pack.
Rocket is 15th.
15th.
You're 18th.
Oh, jeepers,
18th. 32nd. This week, the big winners were Old Salty and Hacks to single figure, both picked Scotty Scheffler. And a mate of mine, Jamie, up in Queensland, he was missed out in the playoff. He had Patrick Cantlay. But like you said, Ross, there is certainly so many tournaments left in the season. First prize this week got them 1.5 million, just under. The leader's on 2 million. So if you join up now and pick the winner this week at Riviera, you can be top 5 pretty.
Well, Salty Dan was way down. He was backpacking. He was down as low as you, Magic. And
whoa.
Well, he was down there, and he's just catapulted up to the front. Dan will be up there doing a little Dan dance up there.
Hey, if Will Zalatoris can jump on the tour at any stage and then make it into the top 25, but still not be eligible for the awards, we still offer awards, unlike the PGA Tour.
Exactly right. We will have an award for the lead up of the Masters. So we'll have a Q1 award before the Masters. We might have a little bit of a Masters special. If you are part of this, now it's not connected to Drum and Golf. We might give a Drum and Golf away, but it's not a Drum and Golf program. So don't at me on the Drum and Golf Instagram saying, where's my prize for winning the Teepster competition? There's nothing to do with Drum and Golf, but we're going to give a Drum and Golf voucher away or something to the effect of. Of course, it's going to come from Drum and Golf if it's coming from me, but it's not related to Drum and Golf. So don't send me a message over on any of the Drum and Golf socials, please. Send us a message directly to Magic Mike or to Rocket if he hasn't blocked you or you haven't blocked him.
It's more likely someone's blocked me.
Yes, if you haven't blocked him, well, send it to me directly at ross.flanagan.golf or at My Love of Golf, of course. So, yeah, I went with Bubba. He finished 16th or so. That's right. Who did you guys have?
I had Russell Henley. He made a cut, but he didn't do anything spectacular. Got me 45K. Rocket had Maxi. Maxi was in it for a long way.
Yeah. No, his putting was very ordinary all week.
Has anyone picked someone that they sort of wish they still had moving forward? Yeah, is Max one of the ones that you probably think now that you might have kept him for something else in your pocket there, Rocket Man?
No, the only one I would have thought about keeping him for is actually going back-to-back this week. About it.
Candler's the only one I've used that I wish I'd kept. I mean, he could easily have won last week or 2 weeks ago, I should say, but he didn't do it. So he's the only one I wish I'd kept, but everyone else I'm happy to burn.
The Nomadic Golfer reached out and to me and sent me a message. He's travelling around Tasmania at the moment for on a 5-month sojourn, playing every golf course in Tasmania. It sounds like he's having a magic, unbelievable time. We might grab Tony on one time. He's given me his phone number and he might jump on. But just a few little congratulatory notes. He was a new listener. He thought that we were sticking up for, I think, Phil last week, and he was about to switch off, but then he heard, the story play out. He heard the story play out, and he was back on. We nearly had him off, but he was back on after he heard you play the story of what you think of Phil and what he's doing. So, Tony, safe driving down there in Tassie. I'm not sure what sort of caravan he's got. Rocket is a new age caravan man. But yeah, I'm a Jayco man myself.
Hopefully he gets up into, don't do it in the winter time, but gets up into the Highlands and plays Ooze Golf Club and then a bit of Tarraleah, the old hunting ground for me when I was growing up.
It sounds like Tasmania is full of interesting, quirky little 9-holers in every corner, which, like positioned on cliff tops over the water and, in beautiful, beautiful other spots. So, it sounds intriguing. One day, Rocket, we're allowed to go to Tasmania. We should go and do it. We're not allowed to go and see my mate Ryan, who's over at Mount Hutt, or the Cook Mountain over there, just out of Christchurch at a golf course as manager of a hotel. We're not allowed to go and see him yet, but when we do, he sent me some pictures of his digs. We'll be going across there, boys. One day we will. Don't worry about that. But speaking of golf travel, the Open, it's back on the agenda for me. I know everyone knows I'm going to Scotland, but it's seriously on the agenda, and I'm making my people are talking to the people about how I can get to the Open. Exciting times.
Have you got any leads on passes?
My management team. No, we're just trying. It was great to see Matty Griffin qualify. We spoke last Thursday, and obviously the tournament at 13th Beach had just kicked off. On the Wednesday afternoon, I had maybe 40 minutes with Matty on the range, testing out the new Full Swing Kit launch monitor. But then we did a quick what's in the bag video. It was like 5 minutes. I said, Matty, I've got the video here. Let's just do this and see if we can make it something for the YouTube thing. And we talked about the carrot of the 3 open spots. And lo and behold, tournament hardened Matty Griffin grabs the last spot. So he's off.
Do you know what he should be doing for the next 5 months?
He should be
at the Big Swing Golf with the Full Swing simulators, playing St Andrews twice a day.
Well,
all conditions.
I talked to the boss of Big Swing Golf, and on one of my simulators, we've got a new version. It's the Full Swing Golf software, so it's not E6. If you've played on a simulator somewhere around, on the Flight Scope or the TrackMan or whatever version that you've played simulator golf on, it's usually going to be on E6 software. So it's gaming software and everyone uses it, and Full Swing Golf uses it too. But as a technology company, they've built their own, and they remapped all of the TPC courses. So on the my middle simulator, my widescreen was only one of 3 widescreens in the country. On the widescreen, in the middle of the Melbourne venue, you can play on the new software, and it's got a new version of St Andrews. And I tell you what, without
so you get to hit from out of bounds on the new course on 17.
On 17 on the new course.
So during the Open, the 17th tee's out of bounds.
Yeah, no, I actually park my car down there sometimes. It's not on the new course. The new course is on the other side. It's like it might be.
Is this a Fairmont?
It might be on the new course. Yeah, it's in the hotel or just before the Fairmont there. Yeah, that's right. Or not the Fairmont, but it's down there anyway. No, you don't hit from back there. But anyway, back to the point. Sorry, we're dribbling. The software is great. I've made some video of it, and I'll make a better video because now I'm getting better at making videos. But it's unbelievable. Like, I hit on the 16th, and I remember I played there once 10 years ago, and I was playing a match. We were playing against a girl from the University of Texas A&M. She just joined us as a single, and I was playing with my mate Steph from Mornington. He was over there caddying, and one of his caddy mates. And we were playing the 16th, as you know, out of bounds down the right-hand side. I had a bit of a score going. I didn't want to hit it out of bounds down the right, so I've pull hooked it. And it goes into this culvert on the left-hand side. And if you played it, you probably know St Andrews, and you probably know that culvert that I'm talking about separates whatever the next hole is on the other side.
Two.
And in the simulator one day, I was playing against someone, and we got there and we were playing another match, and I was trying to get into their head, being a smart A. And I said, you know what, I played this hole and I pulled it left because I didn't want to go out of bounds. Out of bounds on the right, and you don't want to go out of bounds. And I played exactly the same shot, the anti-out of bounds, pull, hook, left. And as the ball sailed into the culvert, so therefore exactly the same sort of distance that I hit it off the tee in real life, this massive sense of deja vu just enveloped me. It was unbelievable.
I thought you were going to say you saw your divot, and I'll be like, that is unbelievable.
I tell you what, those simulators are good, but they're not that good. No divots on St Andrews when you're playing off the simulator.
He won longest drive virtually.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, I win long drive every time I play the versions.
When you were playing on that simulator, were you playing with Minwoo?
I could do that.
Set that up. Yeah.
I could set that up. No, but seriousness, it's really good. I did stupidly ask Matt, and it was probably in the top 5 dumbest questions I've ever asked a podcast guest, let alone a winner on multiple tours around the world, including Australia, including Korea, including New Zealand. I said, "Hey Matt, you played at St Andrews before?" And like within a second, it was like, yeah, only 12 times, Ross. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because he would have played Dunhill Links.
He played the Dunhill Links so that I knew it. As soon as I hit send, I'm like, you know the answer to this, you're an idiot. Anyway.
I thought you were going to say you asked him if you could carry the bag.
No, I'm not that silly. I'm an idiot. Like, it was a dumb question, but I'm not going to ask that much of a dumb question. I'm sure that Matt Griffin, in his second attempt at the Open, he played at Royal Birkdale in 2017. You were there? Was that the one you were at, Mike?
Birkdale, yeah.
Yeah, so he played there, missed the cut by 2 shots, unfortunately. But I remember I was in Scotland at the same time. No, I wouldn't ask him that. Would I ask him, can I catch up with him beforehand and do another What's in the Bag for the Open video? Absolutely. He actually offered. But, anyway, the Open's back on. Project Open. Watch this space. If you're in Scotland listening, if you've got a spare square foot of floor space that maybe you might want to put a sleeping bag and a camera bag under so I can put my head on it, that'd be great because I'll be jet lagged.
Mate up at North Berwick.
What's that? He's not at St Andrews.
No, but he's still in Scotland.
Yeah, that's even further away from where I'm staying. Like, it's closer as the crow flies across the water, but he's not at North Berwick anyway. He lives in Edinburgh, is our mate Josh. He sent me a message tonight. He wants to know what driver to buy.
Well, maybe you can get into the competition.
He wants to know what driver to buy. I said, well, he said, what am I using? I said, I'm using the Titleist TSI 3. I said, but don't take my recommendation. Take Jeff Ogilvy's recommendation, because the other day he said it's the best drive at Titleist they've ever made. So there you go.
That's a big call.
And I said, don't listen. When Jeff Ogilvy says something's that good, when you swing as well and metronomically like Jeff Ogilvy, you listen to that.
Because the 975D is still probably one of the best drivers ever made.
Do you know who was on the Metalwoods team when that driver was conceived? So I'm led to believe. Bob Vokey.
Huh. Not surprised.
It was after that time and his success in one of those early, might not be 975, but it was that era, that ilk of those drivers, those really good ones, and I'll find out. But it was after that he left to go to Vokey wedges. There you go. What else?
We got to go for our picks for Riviera this week.
Okay, mine was easy.
We did go through the tips.
I've gone with Adam Scott.
Yep, good record here. Very good record. I've gone with Hideki this week. Adam Scott, his last, in his last 10 or so starts, 21st, 17th, 10th, 2nd, 11th, and he won it in 2020, the year before Max, went 7th in 2019. So he's had a lot of top 20s. Very, very good results here.
Seems to be my trend at the moment. I'm picking top sort of mid-teens winners, mid-teen place getters. So it's good to get $100,000 in the bank, but I haven't got that 275 to plus yet. So anyway,
horse. That's all you can. That's all. It's never a bad bet. Never a bad pick on someone who likes playing at a course. Same as anything else. If they got a good vibes there and good feels and like hitting the ball and just suits their eye, always a good pick.
I did see that Adam's playing a practice round with Nimwu, so maybe there's a bit of rub-off vibe there. Rocket, who did you pick?
Well, you guys have just taken my 1 and 2.
You can pick the same one.
No, I can't do that.
The only person that's not going to follow me against pulls.
I'm going to go Fitzmagic.
Yep.
Solid.
I think he's had a couple of good results here as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he was thereabouts last year, and I think he had a bad final round. And I finished he's in the 30th year before, and then it's the right sort of course for him.
He's finished 10th last week at Phoenix, 6th at Pebble, so that's pretty good form coming in.
Yeah, Fitzmagic.
Like it.
Who are the Poa Greens players?
Aussies.
Aussies
and South Africans.
Yeah, because last year had Cam Smith, Matty Jones, because Matty Jones played with Max and Taylor Gooch in the final round. Who else? I know, and Adam Scott's obviously played well there, and then I think Leisha's been a contender at times as well.
Yep.
Baker Finch used to play this one really well.
Yeah, you either like it or you don't. Certainly, it's like everything else. When you see these guys, the grass they grew up on or the grass they like putting on, they tend to shine in those tournaments and then kind of go disappearing
Is Cole
when they're
playing?
heading away. Cole is playing, but on the data lake, he did not come up. So either I'm missing him out of the no, he's there. He's definitely there. Yeah, he finished 43rd last year and 26th year before. He ranks shockingly 19th. I thought he'd be much higher, which is why I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, I think it's almost like that time of the year. It's not like he's never quite been in form this time of the year. He actually just re-signed with TaylorMade. I think they've had to put their hands a little bit deeper into the pockets to secure the young man.
Well, this week I've looked at strokes gain approach, which guys will hear me talk about a lot. Ball striking, tee to green. And then the three stats that kind of a little bit different. Strokes gained around the green, because you're going to need to scramble a bit. Bogey avoidance, so who's the guys that can really limit the damage. And then one that I like is driving distance. It's not a stat I love. I normally go strokes gained off the tee, which takes in accuracy as well, but this is pure distance. When you look at those stats, why Cole drops down a little bit is because around the green he ranks 173rd. That scrambling is not, that around the green stuff's not,
especially there because it's all Kikuyu and stuff like that. It's a bit gnarly.
It's a little bit like Victor. Victor's when he has his words out, you get nervous. He's world class, but you get nervous when he's got that in his hand.
Yeah. And the thing is that you think it's kind of this time last year, Cole was not flying like he was by the time the middle of the year came about.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's our tips. Riviera, one of your favourite courses, Rocket?
Absolutely. No.
Okay.
On PGA Tour, Tiger Woods I have.
I played golf today with the mate, Scotty McGregor. He played Riv when he was over there. Enjoyed it. Didn't love it, but enjoyed it, he said.
Yeah,
Loved the holes that everyone knows.
Yeah, I think the course needs a little bit of a restoration back to its original glory, because it's still not. It's not exactly how it was when Mr. Thomas built it. It's a little bit different.
My friend, he puts it as one of his favourite courses he's ever played. He's played Cypress Point. He's played everywhere. But he absolutely loves it. Absolutely loves Riviera.
If anyone wants to get me to Riv and Cypress, I'm happy to judge whether they stack up against Rosebud South.
Okay, how was Rosebud South?
I think a man of your ilk would rip it apart. I'm not a super long driver. I'll hit the ball okay, and especially with the new Callaway Epic driver, which is one I would recommend. I found that I could hit the ball past pots that probably weren't really in play for me, and I'm not a big hitter. Not for back tees, blue tees, but it was. I've been told the North is the better course of the two, but it wasn't a bad course. It wasn't a bad afternoon. I played St Andrews Beach in the morning, so of the two, I probably preferred St Andrews Beach, obviously. But no, it wasn't a bad day.
When are you heading back to the city?
Heading back on Friday. So tomorrow, I haven't decided where I'm playing yet. And then Friday, I'm cruising back via Sandhurst. I'm playing Sandhurst in the afternoon.
Okay. How did Scotty McGregor hit him?
Scotty hits the ball a very, very long way. I gave him 2 shots and he got me by 4 stable for points. So he got me today. But no, he hits the ball a very, very long way.
Very good. Now, European Tour. Oh, not European Tour. Wash my mouth out with
DP World Tour.
DP World Tour soap.
One question quickly, Mike. What's happening? Who's popping up at the top of the data lake?
Sorry,
the data lake. Well, the names that are at the top of the data lake are the ones that you'd expect to see up there, which is Hideki, who's my pick. Justin Thomas comes up number 2.
Oh, first bucket.
Sam Burns, Zalatoris, Gooch, Shoffley, Im, Rahm, Cam Smith, Henley, Scheffler, Cantlay. So they're all, people you'd expect. But the one who slots in at 3rd, who's probably a bit under the radar, is Luke List. Luke List is sort of shopping around 80 to 1, and he comes up 3rd. So I've had a few, as you would say, Rocket, shekels on him, just in case he does something special. And I've also had a couple of very small bets on guys at massive odds, Mav McNeely and Joel Damon, who I think Mav played well here. West Coast
played here.
Joel played well here and played well last week, or played well at Pebble. Yeah, so played well in the last couple of weeks. So that's the data lake. DP World Tour. No tournament this week. Someone said they have no tournaments because they've canned a few because of COVID. Is that right?
Well, it looks like the Qatar Masters is postponed, and then the Indian Open, which was due to follow, has been cancelled.
Yeah, but someone I was listening to the Tour Junkies podcast this week, and they mentioned two boys being from Georgia, being from near Augusta. They were like, "What? They've cancelled it because of COVID? That's still a thing? Like, Americans don't know that."
Yeah.
But I was surprised, to be honest. Like, I was very surprised to hear that was the reason. If I could be wrong, someone correct me if I am. Last week was Foxy.
Last week, Foxy, and what a great story for the big man. Foxy, I don't know him, never met him, but everyone that I know that has met him and played in a pro-am or have played with him on tour have nothing but fond words to say about the big Fox man. And but him, if you follow that journey of Ryan playing on the European tour, going home, I think he's probably done equal or maybe more hours in quarantine than Wade Ormsby. And it has been very hard for him to come in and go out in New Zealand, almost impossible in many respects. But for him to get that win, obviously then, secure his immediate future on that tour up for a little bit longer is good to see. It's just good to see someone from this part of the world who is a fine player and probably hadn't got the wins in the last few years. It probably should have had the chances a few times, but it's good to see the big fella up there because he knows how to play golf my way, hit it long and hard as he can.
Hit it a long way.
But good to see him minus 22 beat Roscoe Fisher. So
I think I was just saying to you guys before we started recording, I'd heard that Sean Norris of South Africa gave him a little putting alignment tip just before the tournament started, and he's had a great week on strokes game putting. So I think he's probably going to need to slip him a little share of his 300,000 euro first prize.
Do you know what the tip was? Do you know?
I don't know. No, I just Ben Coley, a reporter from the UK, was talking about it mid-tour, basically, tournament, basically saying if he hangs on here, he's going to need to send out some thank yous to Sean Norris. I'll find out and we can share it on socials.
Top Scott last week was Connor Syme. Bobby McIntyre, he's very frustrated with himself. minus 14, busted a driver, had to get a new one. Wasn't the same after he had to replace the driver. Who else? Sandy Scotty Jamieson, Davey Law, Craig Howie from People's Golf Club, Richie Ramsey. Yeah, a few Scots, but Davey Drysdale. Any Aussies? Scotty Scrivener, your mate Rocket.
Actually,
the pirate.
The one thing I was going to say when you talked about how far Foxy hits it, second last time I was down at King Island on the first tee, and he'd been down there not long before. And anyone who's played Kate Wickham knows it's nice, reasonably gentle handshake to open play, but normally hitting into the wind. And he got there and drove the first green. I'll look up how far it is, but it's not drivable for me, especially not off the back tee. So yeah, it puts it into perspective. It's something that he does above. He's 3 strokes around on the field in strokes gained driving distance.
I wonder what shape shot he hit on that tee, because it obviously sets up for a fade. But would he have taken a draw out over the cliff tops and just let it come back? Yeah, I can't remember the entry point into the green. From the tee. I didn't survey the entry point to the green from the tee. Funnily enough,
no, I wasn't either. I was just trying to get something that wasn't off the cliff and wasn't in the shrubs left. But we played this dead still, and we played off the normal tees, and I would have still had 110 in. So I'm not putting myself anywhere near his class, but even with dead still with 110 left, he's knocking it on. That's.
Vic Open, Big Dimmy Papadopoulos.
Big Dimmy, the Greek freak.
Solid unit, solid boy, solid golf to win that tournament.
Is it his second time there, isn't it? Second win at the Vic Open?
I believe you could be right.
Yeah, it sets up well for him, those sorts of courses. I reckon he played well at Moona Links a year or two ago as well. Seems to play those quite well, which is, makes him a good pick. And he had a good solid week.
And Hannah Green, first win on home soil.
Yep, which is good. I think we said it last week. For someone to come back of the profile of her in the women's game in Australia, it's a lot of pressure for her to perform. Nothing worse than for her to come back and miss the card or just not play the way she wants to. So to come win, I think she nearly went wire to wire. Just shows the class, and she delivered, which was excellent.
Great to see the crowds down there. There was a lot of people down there supporting, and just shows how valuable that tournament is to the area, and how valuable it is to Australian golf, and how the Victorians, Greater Melbourne and the Bellarine Peninsula, and all parts in between, support it, and can't wait for it to come back on. Who knows what status it's going to regain in the coming year. But if it got back to LET, LPGA, Europe, DP World, who knows? Maybe something else.
Actually awesome. Growing the game.
Yeah.
Actually growing the game.
Not token statements being thrown around with bags of cash.
Yeah.
Hanging off the end of it.
Yeah.
Is what you're getting at. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Just the old Larry lip service from all the other people that are just trying to claim that I'm filling my car boot with blood-soaked money is growing the game. That's not growing the game. Victorian Open, that's growing the game. Tony Finau, Cameron Champ on the range in Inniswood before the Riviera, on the range with like about 50 kids till dark. That's growing the game.
Commentary, Mike, you would have watched a little bit of the Vic Open?
Watched a very, very little amount. Being down the beach, I didn't have my normal access, so I only had Golf TV, which did not show the Vic Open, so it was a little bit on the Foxtel on the phone, and that was about it.
I thought it was pretty good. I think Nick O'Hearn does a great job on the commentary. I could see him, if he wanted to turn his hand to it and head somewhere. Probably won't do it, but I think he's pretty good. And having Alison Whittaker down on the ground commentating here was great. I love Alison and the way that she can articulate what she knows about the game and what she knows about the players. It was great. Ports was down there, caught up with Ports. Ports is good. He's the man on the ground doing the shot by shot, and Brie Lachlan was down there as well. So it was great. I thought the Australian commentary effort is fabulous.
I agree, mate. I think it's. I mean, a lot of those guys did the Queen of the Aussie PGA, and I think they do a really good job. I think there's just more we could do with it. I didn't watch a lot this week, so I won't talk to this week. Because guys like Nick that week and Ports and those guys, they have good insight. Just giving them more tools to get people to want to watch it. Because the only people that are watching the Vic Open are us on TV. People that are getting down there are locals, and I love the fact that they can walk around with no ropes and people walking their dogs. Fantastic. Like that's going to get people who are just partially remotely interested in golf to go down there and see it in the flesh. But in this day and age, you need to get people's eyeballs on TV, or at least watching highlights and things going on. And you've got to jazz it up in a way that gets them to do that.
It's a bit late in the podcast. We should have led with this, but I do want to give a special congratulatory shout out to a young friend of mine who I recently played golf with Jamie, client of Jamie's. And I tell you that because it just shows how much effort she puts into her game at such an early age to get ready for the next level. And we were playing with Chris Smith, and she said to me, "Oh, who's Chris Smith? How do you know Chris?" And if you listen to this, Chris Smith was great. He's a great guy, been on TV recently, golfer, obviously a Myer ambassador, so he's a fairly good-looking bloke. And when I told my wife I was playing with Chris Smith, she wanted to come too. It's the only time she'd ever wanted to go to golf. I said to young Keely Marks, that's who I'm talking about, Keely, better text your mum and ask your mum who Chris Smith is. She's better at explaining it than me. But anyway, Keely played. It was her first professional event, so she had to go through the cuts. There's 3 cuts. And she made all three, and she played really, really well. I think she had 8 over for the tournament.
Yep.
It was not easy conditions down there. It was blowing quite substantially on the courses, and for her to finish so strongly just shows that the more tournament, high pressure stakes she gets under her belt, she's a great young girl, but a great young golfer, and I was so happy.
And had her injury battles for the last 24 months as well.
Mm-hmm.
And also just got her P's.
And she's going to be. No longer does Darren and Rochelle have to drive it down from up in the
drive it down to Peninsula. I text him, I'm going, what are you doing down there? And he's like, just being a dad.
Yeah. So Keely recently joined Peninsula Kingswood, and she comes down there and uses the facilities to practice and play and all that sort of thing. So her dad or her mum, Darren and Rochelle, who are great golfing parents, very dedicated.
She'll probably be happy to have not heard me talk about the lawn for the last month.
I'm not sure she's still listening, but we have given the lawn a rest. But anyway, congrats, Keely. Obviously, she is going to be playing as a cyclonita at Iowa State when she finishes her high school year this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's already signed on for Iowa State.
Be a hawk.
She's committed. And
Iowa State. And I'll tell you what now.
That's the red one with I, yeah.
Hang on, I've got to get it right because
pretty sure it's
there's
Iowa.
Also there's Iowa and Iowa State. So
well, you keep talking, Rock, and I'll quickly look it up. I know the golf team's called the Cyclonitas.
So the thing that she's gonna absolutely love, Keely, Iowa versus Iowa State football games, college football. And the rivalry between these two and the tailgating that goes on with that, you have to. You'll never experience anything like this in your life. The next closest would be like going to a Nebraska game versus Iowa.
The Cyclonitas are Iowa State, so that's who I think Keely's committed to.
Yeah, because I think it's Iowa. They actually have... I've got to get it right. I think Iowa, and I can't remember if it's Iowa or Iowa State, but I think it might be just Iowa. They, the Children's Hospital actually overlooks the stadium. So a lot of the kids in there, they're in there for dealing with lots of different illnesses and stuff like that. They can actually see onto the field, and the teams and the players go and spend a lot of time with the kids in there, and they raise a lot of money for the hospital. It's part of the campus, but also, there's quite good things that happen there. There's a few players that played from Iowa playing in the 49ers.
Didn't you know that Keely committed to Iowa State?
No.
Okay. But the point I mentioned about Jamie Glazier, who caught up with her to have a game of golf while she was back, is she's been working on that part of her game as part of her overall performance strategy for a number of years, and it just goes to show how valuable the type of work that Jamie does. Talking to Hannah Green, bumped into Jared Felton on the putting green. Hannah's partner, Jared Felton, who was a great guest on the recent episode of the Mental Mastery podcast. If you want to go and check that out.
Good player in his day.
Great player, still is. And but like a lot of golfers through COVID, have had some challenges. There's a great episode over there on the Mental Mastery Golf podcast. If you check that out with Jared Felton, Hannah Green's partner. What else? Anything else? The Super Bowl. I had it on in the shop, but I was too busy answering the phone and selling Pro Vs and Wilson Triads and Chrome Softs and Strixon Diamond Z Stars and you name it. Any discussion points on the Super Bowl?
The fact that my team lost to the team that won when we shouldn't have, I'm filthy on. We'll just leave it at that.
Your team weren't in it, were they?
No, we played 49ers, played the Rams in the conference championship 2 weeks ago. We were up by 10 with a quarter and a bit to go, and we lost. So
your team should have been in the Super Bowl. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, this was one of those ones where if we would have won that because we played the Bengals earlier in the year and we beat them. We should never have. Yeah, shit.
Oh, he's bitter. He's gone off. He's almost a walk-off. Mike, you wouldn't have watched any of the Super Bowl, would you?
Nah, I watched the Phoenix Open playoff, which I think bled into about the first 10 minutes of the Super Bowl, and then I went and played golf. I did come home and watch the halftime show though.
Reports on this halftime.
Kendrick Lamar and Eminem and those guys. That was good.
It was good. Snoop Doggy Dog.
Snoop Dogg.
Everyone was going on about how great it was and how amazing. Look, it was really, really good. I did like the little Eminem thing where he took a knee as sort of a message. But it still doesn't beat Prince in Miami. Prince at halftime in Miami was electric.
What year was that?
That was 2014, I think it was.
Wow. Oh, Princey, we miss him.
Yeah, there's a really good video on YouTube about that one where, it was raining. So he got the big stage and he's wearing heels. He's got all these other thing, his dancers are wearing heels, and the director rings and says to Prince, Prince, just want to let you know, it's raining. The forecast is that it's not going to stop. He goes, are you sure you're okay to go on? And he goes, yeah. He said, is there anything you need from us? And he goes, can you make it rain harder?
Well, gentlemen, I've just checked the rundown sheet. We've covered everything that we had planned and written down on the rundown sheet to cover off on.
I didn't know we had a rundown sheet, so that's good.
Yeah, so that's the joke. That's the whole thing. Oh. There's not a rundown sheet. There's never anything written down that we have to cover off on. It just comes out. So we've covered everything on the rundown sheet, i.e. there's nothing on the rundown sheet. If there's nothing else that we need to talk about an hour and 7 minutes in, we should wrap it up, eh?
Yeah, the only thing, because obviously Keely going to Iowa State, again, I've talked about the Iowa State. It's the Iowa Children's Hospital. So my mini rabbit hole with a good cause and a good heart is everyone go to YouTube, not YouTube, just go to Google, put Iowa Children's Hospital or Iowa University Children's Hospital, and just look at the photos and you'll see the hospital they built where a lot of these kids are going through all sorts of treatment and stuff, and they actually get a view of the game. And there's I think there's some videos talking about what the players that go to Iowa actually do as well. So
actually, Rocket, it's so good that you just said that, because you've just reminded me of something. Now, I'm not at home, as we know, but a package came in the mail to me in the last couple of days while I wasn't home. And in that package is a donation for Rocket to bleach his hair blonde. Were you across this, Rocket? Because the money's come from your mum. Cold, hard cash has come in the mail to me to deposit into the account for the dye Rocket's hair blonde. So, Ma Rocket, I think it was about $20 or $50.
Why couldn't she just send you her bloody My Kiss biscuits?
I think there's some other stuff. Elisa opened it up today, and I told Elisa, don't open up anything that looks like biscuits because they're not for you. There was some garlic in there, some other things, and there was
yeah. I tell you what, Mike, you are going to absolutely lose your shit when it comes to that garlic.
I was just impressed as she said money in the mail. So that's
thanks, Mum.
Ma Rocket. It'll be deposited under your name to Rocket's hair dyeing cause in the next 24 hours.
I did get a photo sent to me today by one of my staff members. Let's see if I can just bring it up here. I sent you a picture of the blue screen of death, which happened just as we were about to come on. But here we go. I don't know if you can see that, gents, but it's a bubble wrap white plastic. And Rocket, you've probably had a personal sort of sticker on there. I think I got a package too, Mike. Marie Heron from Port Arthur, Tasmania. Thank you very much, Ma Rocket, for sending up a package. I haven't got it yet, but I will get it.
There's money in that one too. We're going to have
I think there's a package going to your house with bleach in it, Rocket.
Rocket, people did think in your absence in the week directly after we, once again, in an unscripted fashion, goaded you into try and blonde your hair like Brooks did for a donation to Lifeline, which Mike and I made, by the way. People thought that you had actually done it and you didn't want to come on and show us in the week after. Clearly, well, you've had time to have regrowth since then, so maybe that's the case, but I don't think you did.
Thanks, Mum. Thanks. It's great. Thanks.
It's not too late. Maybe you could just think of something.
Yeah, it's not too late to send it back.
No, but maybe you could think of something else that you could do for Lifeline. Yeah, could we do a half marathon or a marathon? And not me, you.
Half marathon.
You do something, like Mike and I did our bit. Lifeline 131114. Do some great work, those people. Thanks, gents. The unscripted script has come to an end, and we'll see you next week on the My Love of Golf podcast. Don't forget to check it out at YouTube and all points in between. Don't block Rocket on Twitter.
No, follow me. Follow me. I need to get to 1,000.
The special things happen when you get to 1,000 on Twitter. Do you get free? Do you get released special access or anything?
No, I've no idea. I just want to get to 1,000. I've been sitting around the 700 mark for it's too long. Maybe they don't like my political views. I don't know. I've been diving in the dumpster of the nest at the moment.
Wouldn't mind getting to 150 YouTube subscribers, and Mike's going to come forward with some Pete Cheese Week activity if we get to 150. I don't know what he's going to give, but he's going to give something. We need to get to 1,000 on YouTube before we can get 1 cent per 1 million views. But at the current rate, we'll be podcasting until 2057.
Great things, overnight successes take a long time.
Maybe I need to get the drone up more often. Oh, that was fun over Mornington Golf Course yesterday night. I might have to get the drone up more often. All right, we'll see you next week on the My Love Golf podcast. Thanks for tuning in.